Well, how are you guys doing today? We hope everybody's going to have a great weekend. It's August 21st. I want to tell you, Friday, the weather's beautiful out there. Get out and sell a house this weekend. Not going to go over any forms today. Really haven't done much on the training this week, other than I'm just going to go over some stories we're hearing out there, and we want you to pay attention. As inventory gets tighter, we're seeing some things that are happening, and I want you guys to be very aware of it. One of the reasons in Dallas and Houston and Austin and some of the bigger cities, that has been going on for a while is option periods have now become $400 and $500 for 5 days and sometimes even less. And the reason for that is we're experiencing right now, we've had three instances in the last week where buyers made offers on our listings sight unseen. And in two cases, they sent a $100 option check for 10 days and they sent it in, got it here on a Friday. And then the house was off the market on a weekend. They got in, looked at the house on a Sunday night, canceled it on a Monday, and so you missed selling over the weekend. Guys, and in another case, you have in Trex Infinite Wisdom, they put in the contract that you could, you only have so many days to deliver the option fee. Well, in this case, the people got into town, didn't pay the option fee, looked at the house to cancel, and we said, "Where's the option fee?" They didn't give it to me. So the other agent didn't get the option fee, and the other people basically that were looking at it who had tied up the house said, "Sue me." So we're having situations. Be careful on your option fees. Right now is not the $100 for 10 days. Guys, I am telling you, you probably need to get about a minimum of $250 or $50 a day up to $500 and to give them 10 days. You need to do that. It's credited back. Okay, that takes them out of the market. It keeps them from tying up good inventory that then they come look at, and then maybe they don't want to buy it or whatever. In the meantime, they've tied that up. They've made a good offer in a competitive market where it was highest and best, and then they cancel it, and the other people have gone and found other houses. So be mindful of that. Yes, is it unethical? It is absolutely unethical, but no way to prove it. So be focused on that. Start demanding a little higher option money so that we can get this thing, and we represent our sellers. And guess what? It represents the buyers, right? You tell a buyer, look, if you're going to do this, if you're going to option money is a little more expensive right now. You're not going to get $100 for 10 days and then walk away. You're going to lose some money. $500, no matter how much money you got, $100 is a lot of money, but $500 puts a dent. Okay, so you want to make sure you do that. We've also had a couple of incidents lately where we've had agents, good agents from other firms have put things in the MLS that were blatantly wrong. Guys, MLS is pertinent information to how we do the deal, how we write up the deal. So if you put in there that the furniture or the refrigerator convey, if you put in there that we'll do this, we'll do that, and then all of a sudden you say no. And here's a situation. We have one agent in particular that puts with an acceptable offer. Well, TREC rules are any offer the seller accepts from a potential buyer is acceptable. Okay? So you can't do that. You cannot put with an acceptable offer. It either comes with it or it doesn't. It's like a bonus to selling agent. It's either on there or it's not. And that is something that we have to guard against. But as inventory gets tighter, we get the more unscrupulous among us doing things. Now we're in the middle, we have the buyer, we're in the middle of negotiating this deal, and everything has been like pulling teeth. The listing agent has done nothing but cause problems the whole way. And it's just not the way to do it. And this agent should know better, but I don't know what's going on. But you put things in there like that, and then we call you on, oh, well, that's only, that's negotiable. No, it isn't negotiable. You said it conveys. You even put it in documents and associated docs that it conveyed. And if you put a date, you can have possession by this date. You have to honor that. Okay, so we've had one instance where somebody put, you can take possession by this date. And then they said, well, we need a temporary lease. Wait a minute. You said we could take possession by that day, on that day, if it was funded and closed. That's not, then you got to close. Well, my people can't close early. Well, then you can't have a 6-day lease. MLS, get your information right, because these things can get you sued or get a complaint filed against you. We're very fortunate. We make a mistake every now and then. I'm not going to tell you we're without fault, but we got a lot of agents out there that are doing things bad. Heard about an incident last night and then heard about another incident today. There were not agents at our firm, but there is something going on, especially in the lake country. up around Lake Fork and Cypress and all those lakes up there. And we had one happen up there that I heard about, and we had another one happen down in Jacksonville. We have agents listing the property and all of a sudden paying 2.5%. Well, in this case, two agents went to closing, and the sales agent was getting a lot more money. And they went, wait a minute, what's going on? So they called the broker and said, I need to see a copy of the commission page from the listing agreement. Well, they agreed on the listing agreement whenever they took the listing with the seller that it paid 3%. They put it in the MLS at 2.5%, and they were going to keep 3.5%. Both these agents have to write a check now to the buyer's broker, and that has to be dispersed. If you have somebody, and we're not into price fixing. Let me make that clear. We do not price fix. If you list something for 7% and you want to pay 3%, if you list it for 6% and you only want to pay 2.5%, it has to be in the listing agreement that you're paying the buyer's representation, someone that brings you a seller, this amount, and you have to honor it. Okay? I don't care. You can't just change it without arbitrary. So if you have one where you sit down at the closing table and all of a sudden their commission's a lot different than yours when you look at the commission disbursement, wait a minute, we may have a problem here, then we can call the broker and say, we want to see, we don't want to see the whole listing agreement, but we want to see where the commission disbursement is on the listing agreement. We're having that. There's a reason we take ethics every time we have to renew our license, because it doesn't take. It is unethical. It is improper, and it is horrible that sellers may have missed a buyer or somebody. We're supposed to show a property regardless of what it pays, but it is horrible that maybe a seller missed a property, absolutely missed a property, seeing a property, a buyer seeing a property because a potential buyer, because their agent put a lesser commission on it and they didn't get an agent that was enthusiastic about taking a cut. If your marketing philosophy is to cut your commission, you shouldn't ask other agents to share in your marketing philosophy, but yet it's done all the time. An agent will cut their commission to get a listing, and then they want you to participate in it. Well, here's what I say about that, okay? It's your right to do it. There is no price fixing. That's wonderful. But you're establishing the type of relationship you're going to have during negotiations right there. So always be cognizant of the fact that you need to be fair with all parties, and that includes the other agent. Apparently, both of these agents that got their hand caught in the cookie jar, they were not with any of our companies. Okay, the agents that got their hands caught, keeping more money. Oh, they're both mad because they got caught. Really? It's like the burglar being mad because the cop arrested him, which is, that's happening a lot in our society today. So guys, here's the situation. We're fair to all parties. We want a win-win. Okay, we could spend all day filing TREC complaints. It's tough, and we do file one every now and then. We're about to file an ethics complaint, on a broker up in the North Country because of some things an agent of theirs said to a client that the client took offense to, and that's a shame. But the situation that you have is we don't want to do that. We want to get along, unless it is so brazen and so bad that we have to deal. Then we're looking at, does that person really need to be in the industry? I apologized to a customer today, and Brenda Rodriguez can tell you, I apologized to a customer today because of the behavior of another realtor that wasn't with our firm. And I said, I apologize to you that my industry has someone like that in it, and I can't help that, but I can give you a better way to go, and we can absolutely love on you and make your experience buying and selling a house better. She had been treated so badly on a $500,000 house. She was just absolutely almost in tears. There's no excuse for that. The greed among us, the true characters coming out. Well, let's let our character come out and be the one that does what's best for all parties involved. Let's get this right, okay? Guys, we don't negotiate our commission with other agents. That's a violation. You can bring up commission while you're in negotiations, but we're having a lot of this. People go in and they list the house too high to get the listing, or they discount their commission, and then the appraisal comes back or whatever, and then the agent's on the phone, the selling agent's on the phone going, well, we need to cut our commission. Absolutely not. You overpriced the house. You took less commission. When your commission gets to zero because of your marketing philosophy of not paying attention to what the market's actually doing, I'll do what I can to help my buyer, but I will not help you at that. I want a win-win. When they put you in a win-lose right from the start and then want to take money from everybody, okay, we've got a problem there. All right, guys, we need to start standing up to those that are not good in our business. We need to treat customers well. I want to treat buyers and sellers like what they are. They're great. If you don't have a buyer or seller that wants a win-win, get away from them. We don't have time for them, and we want a win-win. Guys, I like sellers and buyers that can close the same table. They can talk to each other after the house closed. They can be friends with each other. I still maintain 80% of real estate deals have problems because of the agents. We don't need that. I've just cited examples of how agents made things harder than they should. And, you know, we're in the middle of several deals that should have been slam dunk, easy deals, but the other agent, okay, is making it so complicated that the seller and buyer are wondering what's going on. And what it does, it creates an atmosphere of mistrust. That being said, remember, we want to start getting more option money up front, because we're in a hot market right now. The $50 for 7 days and $100 for 10 days no longer applies. You've got to get more money so these people don't just make an offer sight unseen and back out and take your house off the market for a week to 10 days. You get more option money, deal with serious buyers, deal with serious sellers. Let's get everything we can out there so sellers and buyers are absolutely on the same page. It's a great seller's market, but interest rate also make it a great buyer's market. As property's rising, the buyer has an opportunity to buy more house and obtain equity in the next 12 to 14 months. Okay, so if they buy a house at full price, they're going to be ahead of the curve in a year. So don't worry about it. They've got a lower interest rate. I mean, we're seeing loans come through that are, my God, low. So it's a win-win market for everybody involved. In Houston, Kroner's had somebody in that 150 to 180 price range, may have been 200, and they're consistently offering $10,000 or $15,000 below the asking price, and their offers aren't even getting considered. I said, quit wasting paper. These people are not serious about buying a house. And so, guys, evaluate your customers, coach them the right way to do it. We still have to do things the way they want to do it, but what we want to do is we want to make informed buyers and informed sellers happy. And some people that you can't, just get out of their way. Okay, move on to somebody else. Jennifer Shelton had to let a customer go this morning. They just want to drive around and look at property and make lowball offers. Sorry, not the market for you. It is a seller's market, okay, with a buyer's advantage with a good lender. So if the buyer has a good lender, they can buy a house that is appreciating rapidly, thus rewarding the seller and the buyer. So remember that. This is a seller's market, but the buyer, because of low interest rates, has the opportunity to buy and grow equity at this point. You'll never see another market like this in your entire year. Jennifer Shelton's asking, can we put or require dollars for option in MLS? Absolutely, under agent remarks. You can put in the agent remarks, which are private, that we will give an option period of this dollar for this many days. Guys, we have had it happen too many times now where somebody's putting up $100 or $50 and we're thinking old and we haven't caught up. You go to Dallas and try to put $100 option fee on something for 10 days on a $200,000 house, watch what happens to you. Absolutely, it's not going to happen. And what's happening is we're taking good inventory off the market for 7 to 10 days. That's at least one weekend, maybe two, okay? Selling days, really good selling days, okay? And then they come in and say, well, no, we really don't. We decided we want to do something different. There's our $100, big deal, okay? We have one instance with Wendy right now where a seller just decided he wasn't going to close. We didn't have it. We have the buyer. Seller on the other side, their agent didn't give them a net sheet, didn't tell them what they're going to net, and the seller gets everything from the title company, goes, well, I can't afford to sell. He doesn't have that option. He's fixing to get sued. So guys, inform your customers. Now this is the time to work harder for your customers okay? Not be lazy. Give them all the information to make an informed decision. Because I'll tell you right now, buying a house in the 3% interest range, under 4%, think about that. In a market that's going up monthly, that's fantastic for the buyer. It's great for the seller. Sellers can get in the market if their house is number one, cleaned up and beautiful and ready to roll. They can get all the money, and the seller is happy. The buyer can buy a house that by the time it closes in 30 days, it's appreciated a little bit. It's fantastic for everybody in the market if they've been educated and have the right attitude. So let's do that. Have a great weekend. I'll be back at you next week. We're going to have a fun week next week. We'll have a blast. Weather is fantastic. If you don't enjoy this weekend, you don't know what East Texas is all about. God bless you guys. Hope you have a great weekend.